All right, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. So today we're gonna present about the external audit with me, Chantia, and my partner, Arvira Sipana. Without further ado, the outline of this chapter is the first one, the nature and purpose of an external assessment in formulating strategies. And there are 10 external forces in formulating strategies. Also, there are Porter's 5 force model and the external factor evaluation or EME matrix, and the last is the competitive profile matrix. This is the study case of the Nestle. So we jump into the first. So the purpose of the external forces and also the 10 external is the first one, that audit is to develop a finite list of opportunities that could benefit a firm as well as a threat that should be avoided. And also, there are the 10 external forces. The first one, there is economic forces and social, cultural, demographic, and natural environment forces that divide into one category. So we jump the first one, forces, that is economic forces. The economic factors have a direct impact on the potential attractiveness of various strategies. As you can see in the key economic variable to be monitored in table 7.1 in the book. So there are some elements that we have to manage in the economic forces. And for the social, cultural, demographic, and natural environment, so in this one, the social and cultural demographic strategies decisions on virtually all the products, services, markets, and customers. And next, my friend, Arvira.
Yes, so the next one is about the political, governmental, and the legal forces. So political issues and stances do matter for business and do impact strategic decisions. And political forecasts can be the most important part of an external audit. It includes local, state, and federal laws, as well as regulatory agencies and special interest group can have a major impact on the strategies of small, large, for-profit, and non-profit for-profit organization. We have some of several variables in political governments and legals, and they are environment regulations, number of patent, changes in patent laws and equal employment laws, level of defense expenditure, unionization trends, antitrust legislations, and etc. And about the technological forces, this is actually a variety of new technologies such as the Internet of Things, 3D printing, the cloud, mobile devices, biotechnology, analytics, auto technology, robotics, and artificial intelligence are fueling innovation in many industries and impacting strategic planning decision. Next slide, please. And the next one is about the poster 5 forces model. So the poster 5 forces models of competitive analysis is widely used approach for developing strategies in many industry. So the intensity of competitions among firms, it can be varies widely across industries. So the 5 forces are, the first one is potential development of substitute a product, and also we have bargaining power of suppliers, rivalry among competing firms, potential entry of new competitors, and bargaining power of customer as well. Next slide, please. And the next one also about the source of the external source itself. So a wealth of strategic information is available to organizations from both published and unpublished sources. So actually there's two kind of source of external sources. The first one is the published one, and the second one is the unpublished source. So the unpublished source include customer survey, market research or MR, speeches at professionals and shareholders meetings, television program, interview, and also conversations with stakeholders and so on. And the published source of strategic informations include video calls, journals, report, government documents, abstract books, director lists, and newspaper, and also manuals. Next slide. And the next one, we're going to talk about the external factors of evaluation metrics. So, and external factor evaluations are EVE metrics allow strategies to summarize and evaluate economic, social, culture, demographic, environmental, political, governmental, legal, technological, and also the competitive information. So in order, when we want to develop the external factor evaluation metric, it can be on 5 steps that are, next slide please. So the first step is actually you may list 20 key external factors as identified in the external audit processes. It includes both opportunities and also the threat that affect the firm and also its industry. So the list the opportunities first and then the threat. Be as specific as you can and using percentage, ratio, and comparative numbers whenever possible because we want to measure the opportunities and also the threat itself. And the second step is actually start to assign to each factor a weight that range from 0. So 0 is identified as not important and until 1. So 1, it is identified as very important. So the weight indicates the relative importance of the factor to being successful in the firm industry. And the third one is assign a rating between 1 until 4 to each key external factor to indicate how effectively the firm's current strategies respond to the factor, where 4 is the response is superior, 3 is the response is above average, 2 is the response is average, and 1 is the response is poor. Ratings are based on effectiveness of the firm strategies. And the fourth step is multiply each factor weight by its rating to determine a weighted score. And the last step is sum the weighted scores for each variable to determine the total weight score for the organization. And so, yeah, next slide, please. Okay, I think for this one, my friend Chantia would like to explain it to you, Chantia.
Okay, so about the explain the framework for the 3-stage strategy in formulating analysis. So there are 3, as you can see in the picture. Stage 1 is the input stage, and the second is the matching stage. Third, decision stage. So stage 1 is known as the input stage, and it will summarize all the basic input information that are required to formulate strategies. And the EFE metric and the IFE metric, and also the competitive profile metric include and comprise in this stage 1 of the formulation framework. So in the stage 2, known as the matching stage, focuses on the developing viable alternative strategies by aligning the external and internal factors, the threats and opportunities, weakness and strength, as we know as the SWOT analysis and the strategic position and action evaluation, or SPACE. The Boston Consulting Group, or the the BCG matrix, and the internal, external, and also the grand strategy matrix are all the stage 2 techniques. And the last stage is also known as the decision stage. So it is essential that only the technique for the quantitative strategic planning matrix that is a key SPM makes the use of the input data from the framework analysis. So this about the three stages strategies in formulation analysis. And the next, why the organizational culture is so important in formulating strategy. So the reason is that as the organizational culture and the strategies are both social processes. So as you can, and so as we know that many strategists argue that culture and strategies are connected. The cultural dimension plays a vital role in all aspects and organization. So it is so impacting that it can determine the success and failure of an organization. The culture also affects people behavior unconsciously. So even in those organizations where the ideal of organization culture do not receive much explicit attention, that how the people think, feel, value, and believe and behave in a company that are generally influenced by the ideas and also the perception of a cultural nature. And next, Arvira maybe would like to present about this one.
Yes, so the next one is about to identify the basic functions or activities that make up management and their relevance in formulating strategy. And the first one is planning. So managers establish organizational goals and devise a plan of actions to achieve them during the planning stage. And the second one is organizing. So the goals of organizing is to distribute research and assign tasks to personnel in order to achieve the goals established during the planning stage. And the third one is leading. So leading involves motivating and influencing employees' behavior in order to achieve organizational goals. Rather than tasks, leadership focuses on managing people such as individual employees, teams, and also groups. And controlling is the process of evaluating plan execution and making changes to ensure that the organizational goals is met. And the four management functions can be viewed as a process in which each function builds on the previous function. So management must perform the four functions of management in the correct order in order to be successful. Next slide, please. Yep, the next one is to identify the basic function of marketing and their relevancy in formulating strategies. So promotion, selling, product service management, marketing information management, pricing, financing, and distributions are the seven functions of marketing. So promoting from email and content marketing to social media and advertising strategy, promotional campaigns, build brand awareness, and etc. And selling, marketers nurture leads through the product centric and often personalized communicating besides in product management to ensure product consistently meet the customer need, and marketing teams conduct computer analysis, and marketing information management teams use granular information from multiple specialized tools to determine customer demographic and preferences. In pricing, promotions and also branding should match desired pricing. So financing function and marketing can generate money in ways besides sales, and the distributions drive off tons of distribution channel and both physical and digital for marketer to choose from. Next slide. The nature of the roles of finance or accounting and formulating strategy. In the terms of, in the area of the finance or accounting, the formulating strategy, there are the first one, reality check. So managers can be overly optimistic about what their departments are capable of accomplishing. And the second one is start to pricing and cost. So finance can be useful in calculating how much each of these action plan will cost to implement and result predictions. So the last one is measurable metrics. Next slide.
Okay, so I think from the previous opening, I mentioned about develop a competitive profile for Nestle. So about the competitive profile, or we known as the CPM, is we must identify a firm's major competitors and its particular strength and weakness. So in the weights and total weight scores in both a CPM have the same meaning. So we can take a look at this table. So we compare Nestle with two competitors, which are Dutch Lady and News. So this is about the elements that we have to analyze about the strength and the weakness. So there are 9 factors or 9 analyses. The first one is about critical success factor, advertising, product quality, price competitiveness, management, financial position, customer loyalty, global expansion, and the last is market share. So we calculating the weight that and about your rating and also the total score. So from this data, we can know that the score for Nestle is higher than the Dutch Lady and News. Okay, so the competitive profile matrix is a very important strategic management tool for comparing the firm to the industry's major players. So we're comparing one company to all companies in that industry. And the competitive profile metric provides a clear picture of the firm's strengths and weakness in comparison to its competitors. So Nestle's main competitors are Dutch Lady and Yost, as I already mentioned. And so we use those two companies to compare. In this industry, Nestle has the highest effort in their advertising field. So Nestle has also done the various types of advertisement, whether it's newspaper or commercial or online advertisement. And the advertisement is also more eye-catching and appealing to the public eye compared to Dutch Lady and so I think that's all of our presentations. If you have any question, feel free to ask us. Thank you for your attention, guys.